If you guys have been fans of photography, you've probably heard of the term megapixel, but many people don't know what megapixel actually is, and that's what I'm going to be explaining in today's video. When you shoot an image, you're basically shooting a series of small tiny squares. These tiny squares, it contains data of what you've captured. So basically these tiny squares are tiny squares of color and they're tiny squares of data. And these tiny squares are called pixels. These pixels come together and make up the image. So the image that you actually shoot is actually million tiny squares all coming together and working together and creating the image that you see. If you take a million of these tiny squares, if you take a million of these pixels and bring them all together, right, they form a megapixel. Now, the more the pixels, right, the more data is actually in the image. And because there's more pixels and there's more data, right, you basically get more clearer images, and the images that you use which have a higher megapixel count, right, you can actually enlarge them and they won't lose their actual quality because there's more data, there's more small pixels in them, there's more megapixels. So if this camera is a 24 megapixel camera, that means any image that I shoot with this camera is going to have 24 million pixels in it. That camera behind me is a Nikon Z7. That is a 42 megapixel camera. That means any image that I shoot with that camera right there is going to have 42 million pixels. So 24 million pixels versus 42 million pixels, right? This camera is going to help me get much better quality images because I can extend them much more, so I can use this for a huge hoarding, and I can use this for a huge hoarding as well, but this is going to have a more effective outcome. So that's why when you're shooting your friends, right, it doesn't matter if you use a 42 megapixel camera or a 24 megapixel camera because you're still going to get good images. We basically change the megapixel depending on the type of shoot that we're doing and depending on the needs of the client. So if the client needs a huge image that's going to be put on a huge billboard, right, then shooting on 24 megapixel camera we can get a really good quality image. But if you shoot that same image on a big camera like that 42 megapixel camera over there, right, it's going to have a more crisp image when enlarged to be put on a banner. So now you know a megapixel is basically a million pixels. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, like, comment, share and subscribe to your boy, and I'll see you guys in the next one.